Okay, let's unpack this. If you're leading procurement, launching an RFP, well, it can feel less like a structured process and more like just unleashing a storm of emails and spreadsheets, right?
Oh, absolutely. It's a common pain point that chaos isn't just inefficient. It hits the budget and it really erodes supplier trust over time.
Exactly. So our mission today, we're drawing from this guide on disciplined, auditable RFPs. We want to pull out those core
Yeah,
standards.
the essentials. How to manage the process smoothly, make sure every decision is, documented, defendable.
And right off the bat, for procurement leaders listening, the big target has to be that inadequate preparation. That's where it all starts to go wrong, isn't it?
It really is. That's the weak point. If that foundational RFP document isn't clear, isn't complete, scope it starts to drift immediately.
So laying the groundwork, what does that actually mean in practice before anything goes out the door?
It means first, checking the document itself. Is it complete? Is the language plain, easy to understand, structured logically? Avoid jargon unless you absolutely have to.
Okay, simple clarity.
But maybe even more critical is getting all your internal stakeholders to agree on the requirements beforehand. I mean, really agree. Technical specs, service levels, the outcomes you expect, everything.
And if you skip that, if you just sort of rush it out, what's the tangible consequence we see?
Scope creep is almost guaranteed, and that directly translates to budget pain. We're often talking like a minimum 15% budget overrun just a few months into implementation.
Wow, 15%. Why? Just because something was missed?
Yeah, exactly. Because you suddenly realize the price you agreed didn't cover some critical service level that, your internal team just assumed was included. It wasn't explicitly stated and agreed upon up front.
Okay, so nail down the requirements. Then what about managing the responses when they come in? That can be overwhelming.
Right. Standardization is your friend here. You absolutely need standardized templates. For pricing, sure, but also for the structure of their responses.
Why is that so crucial? Just for easier comparison?
Comparison is a big part of it, yes. It makes apples to apples much simpler, but it also discourages suppliers from conveniently leaving out critical details. And actually, it reduces friction.
Reduces friction. How so?
Well, think about it. If the template is clear, suppliers spend less time trying to figure out how to answer and more time actually thinking about the substance, the value they can offer. It can genuinely speed up their response time.
Interesting. Okay, let's shift to communication during the RFP. That seems like another area ripe for, well, chaos.
Definitely. What's fascinating here is how transparency becomes strategic. It's not just about being nice. It builds trust and, crucially, your audit trail.
So practically, how do you manage that communication flow transparently?
Best practice. Designate a single point of contact. Or even better, use a digital procurement platform, one with a proper Q&A module built in. Centralization is key.
And why centralize? Just tidiness? Or is there more to it?
Oh, much more. It protects the integrity of the whole process. The absolute rule is treat all suppliers equally. You must publicly share the exact same answers to questions.
So no side conversations, no hints to a preferred vendor?
Absolutely not. That ensures no bidder gets an unfair advantage. And documenting every single one of those interactions, that's your defense if a dispute ever comes up. It protects the organization.
Okay, but what if a supplier asks a question and it, highlights a real mistake in your RFP?
Oh.
A fundamental error.
Yeah, that happens. You can't just ignore it, and you definitely can't just quietly fix it for one person.
So what's the protocol?
Discipline. If it's a minor clarification, okay, handle it directly but publicly through the Q&A. But if the question reveals a significant error or omission, you have to issue a formal addendum.
A formal addendum to all bidders.
Yes. Everyone gets the revised information simultaneously. It keeps the playing field level and prevents challenges later about unequal information. You're safeguarding the entire procurement event.
Makes sense. So, okay, the proposals eventually land. Now you're facing that potential information overload. How do you tackle that systematically?
Structure again. You need to structure the incoming data right away. Use comparison tables, tools that help you line up the responses section by section, side by side.
So you can see the differences immediately.
Exactly. It lets you spot gaps, identify risks really early on. You're essentially turning paragraphs of text into something you can actually compare and measure long before you get to, say, final negotiations.
And then comes the scoring. The scoring matrix feels like where the subjectivity meets, well, the maths.
It's the core of objective evaluation, really. A good scoring matrix translates those qualitative things like supplier experience, maybe cultural fit, technical approach into numeric scores.
So you could weigh different factors.
Precisely. You decide, okay, functionality is 40%, price is 30%, maybe their track record is the other 30%, whatever fits the need. But, and this is critical, the rationale for choosing those weighting, that has to be documented up front.
So the weighting itself is part of the audit trail.
Absolutely. It shows why you valued certain criteria more than others. That documentation provides the ultimate accountability for the final decision. It defends the choice.
Listening to all this, the centralized Q&A, the structured comparison, the weighted scoring, the audit trail, it just screams digitization.
It really does. Honestly, digital procurement tools are almost essential now to manage this properly. They automate scoring, they consolidate all the communication, they lock submissions right at the deadline.
They take the chaos out.
They really do. They transform what used to be a very manual, messy, spreadsheet-heavy task into a streamlined, auditable system.
So wrapping this up, what's the bottom line here?
At the end of the day, disciplined RFP management comes down to meticulous preparation, really clear and transparent communication, and leveraging digital tools to maintain that solid audit trail, that accountability.
And the benefit for procurement teams?
It frees them up. It moves them away from just administering the process, chasing emails, wrangling spreadsheets, and allows them to focus on the strategic side, strategic sourcing, negotiation, delivering real value.
Okay, so here's a final thought for you, our listeners, to mull over. If every single scoring decision, every question and answer is transparently documented in a digital audit trail, how much of that evaluation time, which is often spent sort of bracing to defend the chosen supplier, could you shift? Shift away from defense and towards planning the implementation, accelerating the actual value realization, something to think about for your next big sourcing project?